What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today it is my power rankings for week 11. What a week of games we had. We have no more undefeated teams in the NFL, and we had some very surprising performances, both good and bad, from lots of teams. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and leave your comments on all the teams in the NFL and what you think of my rankings. Keep in mind, this is not standings, this is power rankings, and you can look at my power rankings were last week and see how they compare. I did add the ups and downs and how many spots they went up, so maybe you don't have to, but you just should go over there and like that video and leave your comments there. Let's boost every single video, and let's just get to it. And we'll sit here and we'll start with my bottom 8 teams. We'll start with Houston. They go down 2 spots to last. It's just looking like it's going to be one of those years for them where they're just not going to win a lot of games. They might get one more, but it just doesn't look like it. That score was a lot closer than that game was with my New York Giants. Then the Raiders, they dropped down 3. What a disaster. I think you guys are going to see some stuff in my mock draft video that I put out this week about what this could mean for this team. Even though Mark Davis came out and said Josh McDaniels is doing a fine job or a great job, no, he's not. And if they continue on this downward trend, if they don't pull up the nose of this plane that's plummeting into the ground and finish at least relatively close to a playoff spot outside of the top 10 in the draft, I could see Josh McDaniels getting fired and Derek Carr being moved on from. They can save, I think, upward of almost $30 million by trading or cutting Derek Carr in the offseason right before the draft. It's a pre-June 1st, I think, cut or trade cap savings. And I could see them doing that, drafting a quarterback perhaps, and then spending all that extra cap money on getting guys on that defense, getting some defensive backs, getting some better linebacker play, getting some interior pass rush going, anything for that defense. And I think that the best way to turn around a defense is you do it by filling in with veterans, because the rookies, they take a lot of time. Look at guys like Jeff Okudah, Isaiah Simmons. There's just not a lot of guys that come out into the NFL and play like Sauce Gardner is this year, where you can count on them to help turn around a defense in one fell swoop using rookies. Then you got the Saints. They're down -5. I just talk about a team in the mud, kind of like the Raiders. Then you got the Bears, who the offense is playing fine, but man, did they give up on this season a little bit too soon? Because if you keep Roquan, if you keep Robert Quinn, I know Robert Quinn wasn't playing all that great, but if you keep those guys, I mean, are you maybe in better shape? Do you maybe win a couple of these games? I don't know, man. I don't know, but this might be for the best. Sort of punt away the success of this season to get better draft picks and to help build up that team. But Justin Fields, it looks like they finally unlocked him. Carolina goes up 4. They did beat Atlanta on Thursday night in a short week. It'll be interesting to see what they do this upcoming week against, I believe they're playing the Ravens. So they're playing a really good team. So we'll see how much they can carry over some of that momentum. Jags, they don't move. Steelers, they go up 3 with a win. They're going to be in every single game, I think, which is why it's hard to pick against them with some higher spreads. I think anything higher than a 6-point spread, it's going to be hard to really bet against the Steelers. And the Falcons, overranked them last week, and they that loss was emblematic of, I think, who they really are. And, I mean, they were my worst team coming into the season. They're not going to finish that way, it doesn't look like it, but if they don't win another game, I wouldn't be shocked. Because Carolina is not that good. Just going to cut in on this video real quick to let you guys know about my main channel. It's called Will Reacts, where I cover all things from politics, pop culture, entertainment, ideological standings, all that good stuff, all that controversial, will I get banned one day topics. If you're interested in that, the link is in the description of this video. So after you finish watching this, you can go there and subscribe to that channel as well if you haven't already. Now let's get back to the sports talk. Moving on to my next 8, and it's going to be Detroit. They're going up 2 spots. They still can't play defense to save their life, and I think that's going to be a bit of a problem. I think they got to figure out how to clear up some cap room and then spend some money on getting some guys on defense and veteran presence, kind of like what I said with the Raiders earlier on. The Browns go up 1. It's mostly just because Atlanta plummeted. Broncos, I have them dropping down 1. I don't believe in Denver. I don't believe in them. I think they're terrible. I said they were going to be a middle-of-the-pack team at best in my power ranking series on my other channel, and I think that's really coming through. The Colts, I move them up 10. I did not think they were going to win against the Raiders. I severely underrated them and overrated the Raiders, but clearly they're willing to play for Jeff Saturday. And I don't know if it's a tank, but if they play the way that they played against the Raiders, then this is about where I would rank them, which this is about the team that I thought that they would be when I did my initial power ranking series. I keep going back to that power ranking series on my other channel. I'm going to put the playlist here at the end of the video so you guys can go and watch it if you haven't. You can see I put Indianapolis, I believe they were 20th for me. So they're right there. They're right there. Told you so. Here come the Cardinals. They go down 1 spot. The Rams, they go down 3 spots. Neither team had their quarterback playing, so it's hard to really judge them. But I'm not fond of either one of those teams if they don't even have their quarterbacks playing. Washington with a big win goes up 2. Now they did win, but fair where fair is. The Eagles did everything they could to lose that game, and they succeeded. Green Bay, I got them going up 5 spots. It's the defense is looking like it's going to be interesting. Certainly the pass rush is going to be a problem, but that offense finally started clicking. Christian Watson, I think, might have just gotten the momentum and the confidence that he's been looking for all year since he dropped his first ever pass. That should have been a 70-yard touchdown against the Vikings and really set a trajectory for the better part of this season so far for him. But hey, they can keep up. If he just keeps, those hands strong, then, he can blow the tops off of any defense in the league. So, and Green Bay can keep rising up. I'm just not ready to put them back up into the spot that I might have originally had them in, or where they could potentially be. I got to get some more consistency. And this is a big week for them coming up to show that maybe they can put a couple of games together here. Patriots on a bye week, they just move up because we got guys moving down like the Rams. Bucks, Chargers, and Bengals, I got them holding. Wasn't really comfortable moving one up above the other. I got them all sort of in the same spot. I did Seahawks go down -5 with that loss to the Bucks. They were going to fall from grace eventually. They were going to lose eventually, and this would have been the game to do it. So we'll see how they can bounce back from this moving forward. I don't think there was necessarily anything that happened in that game that exposed Geno Smith or this team. I think that the rush defense by Tampa Bay against Kenneth Walker was really helpful. Allowed them to play back and put more guys in coverage. So maybe that's the formula to how to beat Seattle, is to be able to play lots of guys in coverage and force Geno Smith to throw into those tight windows the way he has been, frankly, but to do it on a more consistent basis. 49ers and Titans, I got them going up 1 spot each, mostly because Seattle dropping down. Dallas drops down 3. They cost me $260. You guys can check out my weekly bets. But I should have won $270. I had the opportunity to cash out at $165 when they were up 14. And I was like, nope, I'm going to take that $265. And boy, oh boy, do I feel goofy for that. Thanks, Dallas. Thanks. Glad I could count on you, Dak. But they're still a top 10 team. They still got a Super Bowl defense, regardless of what happened in that game with Green Bay. It's still a good defense, still a really good defense. Green Bay just got hot in that game. And now my top 8 teams, I got the Jets and the Giants both moving up 2 spots. Both of those teams are looking quite good. The Giants, they let Houston hang around in that game, But I mean, they got liabilities, and Kenny Golladay, what the hell is going on with him? 2 passes that he should have caught. He doesn't catch them. He's complaining about playing time, gets opportunities, doesn't catch the ball when he's wide open. That's an easy way to the bench, especially with Isaiah Hodgins, who came out and had a pretty good game coming off the practice squad. And then Cager had a touchdown at tight end coming up off the practice squad as well. They're just finding guys that fit and letting the scheme do the work mostly, and just putting guys with certain traits in certain spots. And Golladay really cost them, I think. And on top of that, you also have the lack of talent at receiver overall does affect them. Regardless if they get Hodgins schemed up well, or they get Cager, or they get Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, who had a big play in that game, a couple big ones. There's still that lack of talent is working against them, where it does allow a team like Houston, who has some decent pieces in their secondary, some decent young pieces, some veteran presences out there, where they can, they do match up well. It becomes more of a scheme versus scheme thing rather than a talent versus talent thing. On a talent level, they matched up perfectly fine, and I think that's going to hurt the Giants if they don't step up in those areas, particularly with Kenny Golladay. I don't know if they might want to bring in a free agent to try to just boost that receiving group up. I don't know if there's really one out there that would do it. I mean, Odell maybe, but I don't know how much we want him back. Ravens are going to drop down 1 spot just because the Dolphins, you see, they're moved up. The Bills dropped down 3 with that loss to Minnesota. Still a good team though, but had to drop them down below Miami, who goes up 4. Miami just keeps doing good things each and every week, doing all the right things. I think that they are going to hit their stride here and be the team that I seem to be the only one who thought they would be. Kansas City stays where they are. I have Philly dropping down 1 spot, with Minnesota going to number 1 for really one reason only, is that Philly seems to be on a bit of a downward trend. They've sort of let teams that we're expecting them to blow out, they've let them hang around, and they were finding ways to win because they were playing so disciplined. And then the one game that they sort of started to not be super disciplined with how they protect the football, Washington beat them. So that is a big issue. And I think the Vikings are starting, with this 7-game win streak that they're on, are beating really good teams. Now, the only team they lost to is Philly in week 2. But like I said, this is not about, just because Philly beat Minnesota, Minnesota has been just crazy good. And I think that win against Buffalo, obviously some bounces went their way, specifically on that quarterback sneak at the goal line. But every team that's won anything has always had crazy bounces go their way. And the ones that sort of end up not winning, not being overly successful, are the teams that don't get those bounces. It's just sort of the way the game works. But I think that Minnesota right now is the best team. They're certainly the hottest team in the league, and I think that they're the best team right now. Philly's going to have to show that they can bounce back next week. Don't remember who they play, but they're going to have a good showing in their next game, or perhaps next 2 or 3 games, to show that maybe they are more the team that they were before and not the team they are sort of trending downwards to be this week. But hey, I took the Washington money line, so thank you for that. And there you have it, all 32 teams ranked from first to last, or from last to first. That was the order I did it, because it's more fun to reveal 32 to 1. I don't know, first to last, last to first, whatever. I hope you thought that it was at least fruitful and informing. Make sure to like this video, like I said at the top. Leave your comments on my rankings. What are your rankings? Put them in the comments section. Let's talk about it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get these subscriber numbers up. Brand new channel. And keep locked in for future videos this week. See ya.